This is 37th Street Radio and TV, and of course, we are out here hooking up with the best of the best when it comes to guests. And today we have another special guest. So please, guest, just introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Annastancia, founder of the Affordable Therapists Union and professional psychologist. Thank you for having me.
So we'll just go straight into it. How did you even find yourself in such a career path?
The first time I encountered psychology was in high school. I was trying to choose subjects, and I did the A-level sort of so they offered psychology, and when I found out it's the study of the human mind and behavior, interesting. And as I was continuing, I really liked my teacher, the way she taught, the way she made the human mind seem so fascinating. I was like, okay, I should try it in a degree and see. By the time I was in my second year, I knew this was something I was going to do. Maybe not adult psychology. I actually want to focus on children and adolescents later on in my life. Yeah, this is how I ended up here, because I thought, okay, kind of interesting to understand how human thought processes influence human behavior, how just changing your thought can change your behavior. So there are so many diseases. There are so many diseases that I don't think I can cover within the show. But most of them are just you're away from the normal neurological function. Your brain is not producing the chemicals it needs to function the way it should be functioning. Okay, so autism, same thing. ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. This is the same thing. That's what most of these mental illnesses are. You're not producing a certain chemical. It's not always the same chemical. It's not always just one chemical that would allow you to function the way you normally you are supposed to function.
In your line of duty, from the clients that you have dealt with, can you say it is a specific demographic that seeks your services, maybe creatives, maybe doctors, or for you, you have dealt with like people of all kinds? What can you say about the people that you have dealt with?
I have dealt with people from all spectrums, but what I am noticing a trend in, and I don't know if it's with other therapists as well, a lot of people within the tech industry I have a lot of clients who are within the tech industry, and I noticed this actually last week. It was just the other day when I noticed the trend when I started getting new clients, and they just.
So you've talked about going to school and studying, and I just want your views on because right now we have all these avenues, social media, we have YouTube, you can see even what we are doing right now because of the internet. So there are guys who maybe they don't want to go to school. They feel like maybe they can just do their research on the internet, use YouTube, use all these avenues to study. So what are your views on these things? Is it a must for somebody to go to school, or they can use these other methods and just learn and be a professional?
Well, I truly believe that yes, you can get information from all these avenues, but psychology is a science, and you need your certifications to sort of prove that you are aware and knowledgeable of the science. There are experiences that you can only get through the education system, through actually going and getting your degree and your master's degrees and your certifications that YouTube and other internet resources may not provide you with. Yes, there are online certificates that can allow you to get this information, but yet again, even in practicing, you're not allowed to even practice without at least, especially in Kenya, let me say in Kenya, you're not allowed to practice unless you have a degree. And even lately, I know there are some associations trying to push it up to a master's degree because it's a science. You know, it's like medicine. You can't just practice just because you were able to watch a couple of things. There are laws that you have to follow.
I also want you to explain to guys, because some people maybe they may not have the information. So like in your field, what does a therapist do? Like if I come to you, what do I expect?
What do you expect from a therapy session? Yeah, a lot of people really don't know that, which is true. I try to, you know, before I start a session with my clients, I try to tell them what really happens in a session. So psychotherapists, we are sort of people who get you in tune with your psyche, with your mind, your thought processes, how they developed, why they developed, how you ended up using that to create a behavior, why you do this and not the other. And we try and help you figure out, okay, is this a behavior you want or you want to get rid of? Is it a thought process that's detrimental to your livelihood or how you live? We also deal with mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, PTSD, bipolar, complex PTSD, schizophrenia, and so many others. And in treatment, in therapy, if you come, like, let's say the first session, you've come to me like, Annastacia, I need your assistant. First session is just really like an interview. It's for you to figure out, okay, is Annastacia really the therapist for me? Will she help me figure out what's happening with me, what my needs are? And it's also usually an interview for you. We're also interviewing, like, in our side, it's just, am I equipped to help this client, whatever they're presenting to me? Am I knowledgeable in this area enough to assist them, or do I have to refer them to another therapist? Usually that's what you expect in a therapy session is you're going to talk a lot. That is for sure. Psychotherapy is not psychiatry, which I find people confuse a lot. Psychiatry, you just come, it's like going to the doctor most of the time. Depends on the psychiatrist, to be honest. You go to the doctors, you get a diagnosis, you get medication. Psychotherapy, see it as like the physiotherapy after you broke your leg. So you went to the doctor, they fixed it, but now the physiotherapist is the one who helps you sort of get you back on track, gives you the exercises, gives you the exercise regimen and what you need to do to get you back on track. And that's what really the psychotherapist does. You go to the psychiatrist for the medication if you need it, and you go to the psychotherapist for the physiotherapy part of your healing process. It's a lot of talking. There are some therapists who give assignments and allow you to have, actually they give you a lot of assignments. There are therapists who give you assignments, there are therapists who educate you. Every therapist uses their own school of thought, which is how they end up treating you. What is the treatment? But a lot of the time, there's a lot of talking, a lot of going back to your past. There'll be a lot of challenging. Therapists do challenge you a lot. I know people tend to think that you go to a therapy session and the therapist will validate everything you say. No, that's not what happens. They do challenge you a lot. So if you're going into a therapy session, I'd say fast things fast. Have your goals for therapy. What do you want to achieve? What do you want to tackle? What do you want to challenge? What do you want to come out of those therapy sessions? And then number two, have an expectation for your therapist. What do you think a therapist who can help you sounds like, looks like? What does the atmosphere feel like? That's what you should be expecting in a therapy session.
I also want you to elaborate on something that you've just touched on, but I really want you to explain, like, mental illness in terms of, you've just talked about depression, you've talked about PTSD, like, talk about these things, just giving us meanings of these terms as simple as that. Depression, what is it? When we talk about PTSD, what is that? Like, explain to guys so that we can just know, and because these words get thrown around all the time and people don't even understand, so you can just talk about that.
Well, let me start with this. We do throw these words around, and we've sort of diluted their meaning. So, on social media, you always see somebody go, oh, and they're just so depressed. Whereas depression is not sadness. sadness. Sadness can be because of depression, but depression is not sadness. Depression scientifically is an inability or a reduced ability to produce serotonin in the mind. Serotonin is the chemical that helps you sort of not really only regulate emotions, but keep you happy and functioning. That's what depression is. It's just that you're just incapable or just a reduced ability to produce something in your mind. That's what actually most of these mental illnesses are. A reduced ability to produce certain chemicals in your brain to help you function in a quote-unquote normal way, right? So depression is you're incapable or you have a reduced ability to produce a certain chemical that will keep you happy. Anxiety is the reduced ability to produce a chemical in your brain that allows you to, because anxiety is about the fear of the future, being unable to predict the future and control it. So the chemical that allows you to just calm down and relax and understand that, hey, you don't have control over the future and it's okay. This is all you need to do and this is what I'm going to control. PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, or complex PTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, usually happens when a traumatic event happens to you. A couple of years ago, we thought only soldiers suffered from PTSD until we found out that actually anybody can suffer from trauma, and trauma can be from an accident. It may have happened to you or somebody you know, to people who've gone through sexual assault, to people who've gone through abuse, be it physically or mentally. So now in that case, what happens is if you're suffering from PTSD, a lot of the times we describe it in layman terms as your inability to come back from the event. So you tend to keep replaying what's happening in your mind from the past, and therefore that's where you get these words like triggers being thrown around. Something you see reminds you of what happened to you at that time, and therefore you're sort of stuck in that timeline. That's what happened when you have PTSD. Complex PTSD happens when you've gone through multiple traumatic events. You've gone through various trauma, so it's not only just one thing that created the PTSD. You've gone through multiple traumatic events you've gone through multiple traumatic events that now then creates the PTSD. So you don't have just one thing that you need to do. And therefore, you're exposed to multiple triggers, multiple reminders that can take you back to those situations. There's so many other things that are present. Just give me 1 second, I'm sorry.